We've got box office continuity, Amazon censorship, writers being confirmed for the Beatles films, and so much more on this episode of Beyond the Screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Beyond the Screen. I'll be your host today. My name is Ryan, and with me, as always, is Jake Holtzclaw, back from the abyss, has returned to me, did not abandon me
as
for
always.
the show 30 minutes before. No, I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm actually very thankful to have you back. Matt Lemons filled in, and if you didn't see that episode, go watch it because Matt absolutely killed it. Matt is a natural communicator, born for this type of thing, and is very opinionated, which podcast, so good. But
Sometimes
he was fun. But I missed you, Jake.
Oh, appreciate it.
Jake. So with that,
Matt, if you ever sit in my seat again, no, I'm kidding. I don't even know Matt. I don't even.
Such a good guy. We got to have him on the pod with all of us because it'd be fun conversation. He
good.
Yeah. But again, this is one of those days where it's like usually we begin the episode by me going, Jake, how are you? But we again spent the weekend together, all weekend actually. Slept in the same house even together. So
not the bed.
Not the bed.
Same bed.
No. We were very separate. That was a point of contention, actually. I was hoping that would be rectified, but
yeah, his girlfriend was there.
He held strong. Yeah.
And she was not going to let that happen. So.
Not having it. But I'm going to ask you anyway.
We tried to take a vote.
People didn't care for our vote, unfortunately. I feel like if we keep with this joke,
we're outnumbered.
Yeah, if we keep going with this joke, people are going to think we're not joking, and so we should. Anyway, I'm going to ask you anyway. Jake, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm probably better than Ryan because when I got home yesterday at noon, I went to bed and I didn't wake up until 6 a.m. when I had to go to work. Half of my Sunday gone.
Yeah, we were on set again, and we filmed.
Yeah.
We filmed Friday, so we both got off of work, drove down to our location, shot from 7 to 4 a.m., fell asleep. Everyone was up by 11, like everyone working on 5 hours of sleep, then shot from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. So we did like 22 hours of shooting in like 36 hours, like something crazy like that, and then went home and all worked the next Monday. So yeah, it was a long weekend, but we made it happen, and it was a good time. And so I'm noticing something, too, I almost forgot to mention before we continue into the film news. I'm wearing Bulls, kind of my garb here, my Joakim Noah jersey. Yes, I'm a Joakim Noah fan. That guy was my guy. And my hat, and on the ground, as I showed Jake earlier, is I'm not going to show you now because my house is cluttered, but I have a rug gifted to me by my girlfriend's stepdad from the 90s. That's Bulls, got all the championships on it. It is draft lottery night for the NBA, and the Bulls, as mediocre as we are, we're up for a lottery pick, which means you are one of the worst 14 teams in the NBA. So there's a chance we're a ping pong ball away from getting Cooper Flagg in the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, which is happening later in the summer in June. So I'm going to be keeping up with that as sporadically as I can in hopes that we land the top pick. But that's why I'm wearing this, is to celebrate, and I'm probably going to be disappointed, as always, with my Bulls. But that's okay, because what are we without our mediocre franchises, right? Right? That is exactly, that's exactly how everyone feels when I ask that. Is that just silence? Nobody responds. People are like, oh. Poor guy.
Why would you put yourself through that?
I was thinking about this earlier. I've been a Bulls fan for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
I was 9
years of torment.
I was 9. Yeah, most definitely torment. I was a small child when I picked the team with the red mascot because I liked the way they played defense, and I have had a horrendous existence in my sports and my basketball fandom since. With the exception of a few moments, D Rose hitting a fadeaway buzzer beater from beyond the three-point arc over Cleveland in Game 2 of the 15, 16 NBA.
You're just spouting buzzwords. I don't get it.
Yeah. That was a good moment. I was in 8th grade when that happened, and now I'm here, and we've not had a higher moment since. So anyway, I'm going to stop being sad. I'm going to move on, and hopefully you'll hear me ramble on about how
Maybe
great.
if you switch teams, they'll get better.
Yeah, that would probably happen. It's like, Indiana's actually pretty good, and all of a sudden Chicago's like, now's our chance. So
yeah, one lone bearded white guy in Kentucky.
We've been waiting for him to leave. We can't have it. Yeah.
Man,
No
we
one might look.
really don't like that guy.
Yeah, we hate him. We 2010, they're like, no, no. It's just me going,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah, I like these guys.
No. It's just the
Freaking out, man.
yeah. Anyway, all right. We're gonna get off sports. You'll see me wearing this the entire time, even if we inevitably get like the 14th pick or something instead of the first. But we're gonna move into box office news. Bear with me. We're so tired, and I'm probably gonna misread some things. You can see it in my eyes, man. I'm like dead. So
I've never looked better.
anyway, we're gonna move into our top 5 from this past weekend's box office results. Number 1 is Thunderbolts, earning 33.1 million domestically, which gets it its second straight first place finish. While down 55.5% in gross from last week, this is still a fantastic hold on sales for MCU films. I think the only one that's done better was Shang-Chi, which was 54, or maybe that was just, I got that from Deadline. I feel like Endgame would have had a better hold over week, but it compared it to Shang-Chi, which was the highest rated MCU film for whatever reason, which was at a 54 in its second week. So very close in terms of those two films. Overall, the film has earned 128.4 million domestically, 143.7 million internationally, and 272 million globally after 2 weeks. Now, a lot of people are saying, hey, this isn't as good as Captain America, the most recent Captain America film, which was, I think it was like 282 after 10 days in theaters. Thing is, we're looming over a Memorial Day weekend. People aren't going to theaters this past weekend because they're like, oh, we'll go on Memorial Day. So that's something that the Captain America, like the last Captain America film, didn't have. So I'm 99% sure this film's going to absolutely demolish the record set by Captain America, and it's going to like bulldoze past that. This film's probably going to cross 500 or 600 million. And if I remember correctly, Brave New World was at 400 something. So I wouldn't put too much into that. I think the film's still doing fantastic. Again, overall, they're doing great. Holding place in second, where there's a lot of repeat players here this week. Holding on to second place is Sinners. The second straight week in this spot. It earned another $21.1 million on the weekend. This pushes the film past the $200 million mark domestically, overall to a $214.4 million mark. This is only the 6th horror film in history to pass such a benchmark. The Exorcist, Jaws, The Sixth Sense, It, and It Chapter 2 being the only other 5 films to have earned over $200 million domestically alone. That is insane company for this film to now join. So a 21 million fourth weekend in theaters beats fourth weekend totals from The Sixth Sense and It. So that, again, this film is still doing waves in theaters. It's just now hitting a 50% loss in gross from week to week. So, I mean, absolutely insane. So this record-breaking film has also earned 68.9 million internationally and has a global tally of 283.3 million. So they're still doing work. They will definitely cross 300 million. What can you say for an original? We've talked about this. We talked about Ryan Coogler a lot. I don't really see the point in kind of halting here, and we'll just go ahead and move on. But great work. Filling in third place again is a Minecraft movie in its 6th week in theaters. Warner Brothers movie, just sticking around. It hasn't finished anywhere below 4th. It dropped to 4th in week 3 and has jumped back up and has held on for a number of weeks now. The film earned another 7.95 million, pushing its overall domestic tally to 408.9 million, its international total to 500.6 million, and its global haul to 909.5 million. It might just fall short of $1 billion. It's 6 weeks. How much longer do they have in theaters after 6 weeks, right? But just under $1 billion, doing great work there. As always, a Minecraft movie, not the best film, but I called it. I'm going to hold on to that as long as it's in the top 5. I called it on that one. The Accountant 2 again finishes 4th. This is almost a spot-for-spot repeat from last week. Amazon MGM's action flick starring Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal yet again holding on to its spot in its 3rd week in theaters. The film earned $6.1 million on the weekend, a 35.8% drop in gross compared to last week. The film has grossed $50.8 million in total domestically, as well as $25.5 million internationally, and over $76 million globally. So not bad, but not like, it's just kind of meh. If anything, you can kind of say that's a flop. I mean, it's earned money. I don't know how much it cost, but it had to have been over 100 million. Easy, right? Like, it's The Accountant 2, it's Amazon. I don't think they were going to pass on expenses on that, but whatever. And finally, we're doing great on timing here because of all the repeats. Our 5th place kind of like leader here on this past week's box office is newcomer Clown in a Cornfield from IFC. It's got some heat, Jake. It's got some heat. And I've seen it everywhere. I did not know what this was about. I saw it once and I heard Cornfield and there was a clown like in the teaser and I thought that looks dumb. And I just put it in the back of my mind. But it kept coming back. I kept seeing it and I thought, why? So coming in at a respectable total of 3.65 million, and I say respectable for a very important reason. When you compare it, IFC doesn't do these theatrical releases. They don't. They just rebranded as IFC Entertainment Group, so they're going through kind of a new phase in their lifeline. I know them as from the TV channel where they come out with their indie films. IFC literally stands for Indie Film Company. Like that's like, or Independent Film Company. That's like what IFC stands for. So they're all, I've known them. They have Shudder. I'm pretty sure that IFC owns Shudder, or they pull a lot from Shudder, which is what I thought Clown in a Cornfield was a Shudder original, which is the horror kind of like subscription service streaming platform that you can watch. A lot of really good horror films come from Shudder. They pull a lot from that platform, especially as an independent film company, but they haven't done a lot of releases. This 3.65 million, which I call respectable, is the highest grossing opening weekend that the film company has ever had. And that beats Late Night with the Devil, which was last year's big kind of underrated horror flick. I'm pretty sure that was a Shudder original as well, but it hit theaters before it went to the platform. We're probably going to see Clown in a Cornfield surpass Late Night with the Devil's $10 million earnings over its run. It's got a 31-day theatrical window. So this is going to be the highest rated or highest grossing film in IFC's history. A great promotional campaign that kind of came out of nowhere. I don't remember it beyond 2 or 3 weeks ago. It is certified fresh.
I haven't seen it at all.
It's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. And I will tell you, the main reason why I put this in here, not just because it finished 5th, because I wasn't going to say a lot about it. I didn't know it finished 5th. What caught my attention a couple of days ago before I saw the numbers today and last night, there was a clip of a semi-truck driving, I think it was in Atlanta, turning a corner on a busy street, and on the side of, it was hauling a trailer. And on the back of this trailer was a giant thing, like a giant poster of promotional material for the film, and in the passenger seat was the clown named Friendo.
Friendo.
Are you friends with Friendo? Is like the whole thing with like the I guess the slogan. And so Friendo is waving with a plastic knife out this window with this giant trailer promoting the film. I saw that and I thought, why do I keep seeing this? Like, and so that's why I really was wanting to talk about it. And so then all of a sudden it finished 5th. It's like, holy crap. Like, where did this film come from? So I kind of want to talk about, Jake, you've said you've never seen it.
No.
Talk to me about it.
Dude, Frendo's a great name for a clown. But, I mean, I've not seen this at all, other than, like, I've clicked it, and I've gone in, like, just quick Google search. I've never seen the poster. I've never seen any of these visuals before. Katie Douglas, Kevin Durant, like, I'm not... Will Sasso? Hold on, you know who that is, right?
Will
The Three Stooges.
Oh, yeah.
He's done a lot of other stuff what I remember him in, but Young Sheldon, is he the no, he's not the dad. Who is he in Young Sheldon?
I don't
Okay,
know.
maybe he was just in a few. Anyway, one name I know, but I've not seen anything about this, Ryan. I don't know. I don't even know how to talk about this. Besides, is it dumb? Like no, I mean like it's good, but is it like a dumb slasher, or is this meant to be?
I don't know. I think it's just meant to be fun. But the thing is, this is what is intriguing to me is I'm not like a big fan of the Terrifier films, but that's what it gives me vibes of is Terrifier.
Yeah.
I think I've said it on the show. My thing again, it's not even against Terrifier. I respect the heck out of it. But I'm not like into gore porn. I'm just not. Like, it's just not my thing. I don't watch films just to see blood splurt. And, you know, like I can respect it from the filmmaker's point of view, to where it's like the practical effects they were to pull off with not a lot of money in the first one, and as they subsequently move on, it's like super impressive. And I know the guy that actually portrays Terrifier does a crazy job. Like, he's actually like in a film of bad acting, in the first one especially, he's like a golden mine. Like, he's just there doing absolutely insane work. So
Yeah.
outside of outside of the performance of Terrifier himself and outside of the amazing practical effects on a small budget, I just don't think I could force myself. Like I tried to watch it years ago and it just wasn't my thing. It was like, oh, that's cool, but it's just I don't know. It's just kind of gross. Like it's just like, and I know that there's a lot of people that be like whip, but it's like that's just not me, man. Like I don't take stories in like that. Like I don't mind gore, but I don't like it if gore's the whole point. But the thing
Yeah.
that is interesting me about Terrifier, I know we're off topic, but the next installment, which I'm pretty sure is the fourth one, they're going to delve into like what is his name? I cannot think of the Terrifier the clown's actual name, or he's technically a mime, but he's the clown. Um, Art the clown. They go into his backstory into like how he became like a demon. Is that is interesting. Like I would watch all of them to get to that point if I knew that was coming in the like before now. So
Okay.
I'm excited about that. That is what like. But anyway, the point is, Clown in a Cornfield reminds me a lot of that, and there's a lot of hype around it. It's not a high budgeted film from a company that we don't see a lot of because they're just kind of getting into the space of theatrical releases, and it's doing well. So that's kind of my perspective on it. Is it came out of nowhere, but I respect anything indie. I'm very excited to see where this continues. Um, but with that out of the way, Jake, you don't have a lot to say on old Friendo the friend, the
I like the
clown.
name of the clown. I think that's funny.
It's a good name. What do you
It's a
think
great
about the
name for a
rest of
clown.
our box office here? There's more beyond five. We just stopped there because it's already a lot. But going through here, what kind of stuck out to you?
Um, Not much stuck out to me. I do want to make a point that I have seen the repercussions of a Minecraft movie with its hold on the young audience, the sub 10-year-old audience. I've seen it firsthand. It's disheartening. I'm sure I was the same way. I'm sure I was the same way, but man, oh, it feels bad to be in this seat, to feel old.
You telling me you don't
Um,
think buck chuckets are the funniest thing you've ever heard in your life?
Not really, dude. Which
Yeah. You know,
I don't even know if I would have back then, but
we
who's to
were
say?
we were on set this past weekend and Malcolm Palmer, who is our guy, he's our one of our actors, such a
I'll
good guy.
full name that guy, full
Yeah.
legal name that guy, so he
I mean,
can
I
get
could
more
easily
work.
cut out the last name, but Malcolm, I'll keep that one. The point is, I'm trying to say is he made a point about that specific joke. Jason Momoa goes to make nunchucks and he accidentally like you know how you build in Minecraft or whatever you craft things.
Right.
He accidentally in a Minecraft movie crafts like in real life nunchucks, but they've got buckets on the end of them. And
Yeah.
apparently Jason Momoa like stops and he looks up and he goes buck chuckets and he starts like hitting people with them. And apparently when he did that, Malcolm was talking about he was in theaters and he looked over and he saw all these little kids look at each other, go buck chuckets, and then immediately start laughing. And he was like, and in his mind, he was like, that's what it's about. He was like,
Right.
for him, it was like that was worth the whole experience, was to see the
Right.
target audience enjoy it so thoroughly and it hit. So like from that perspective, like I also understand. Like I've
Right.
not seen it. I'm not even like I am
Fair
such
enough.
a fake fan because I'm like it looks pretty funny and it's just not worth my time. I just don't give it the time or the money. But hearing that perspective from other people who are creatives and who understand the business like we do, it's like it's cool to hear that. You know,
Right.
like that's where I'll defend
Yeah.
it.
Well, I'm glad it's working for them because all I hear is la 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 lava, cha 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 chicken,
Steve
and
Lovich, yeah,
and
that was the shortest film
the
to
other one.
break the top 25 like on the Billboard charts too. How
Yeah.
you let
And
Steve
then
Lava
what's
Chicken?
the other one? What's the other one? The
Uh,
saying?
which
Oh,
chicken
chicken
jockey?
jockey.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that one. That's the two that the kid I know rotates through. It's not well, he did say buck chuckets. I'm not gonna lie. He did say buck chuckets. So
I knew it, man.
those three have got a grip on them, and it's obnoxious. But I can't say that like not like the kid. Sorry, I don't mean to mean it like the kid, but like
This child
the
is obnoxious.
I don't like the la 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 chicken. I don't care for that one. Uh, I could do chicken jockey. That one's pretty funny to hear him say. And then Buckchuck just came out of nowhere because I didn't really understand that one. I haven't seen the movie either, believe it or not. But the lava chicken one, I was like, man, that's not even funny.
Yeah, I
I don't know. let me be a critique of a.
I think it's just catchy enough, and it's just Jack Black, and that's why is that
Yeah.
like it is hit with the generation upcoming, the alphas. I have heard so much about like slander towards Gen Z these past few like weeks.
It's not even.
It's,
It's not even our
no,
generation.
it's not even us. Leave us alone.
It's alpha. It's always
I,
alpha,
I
man.
cover so I in my job I cover like theater and like musical theater. Like I do promotions, I do social media and stuff. And they did a show, and it was like a puppet show. It's a sketch comedy show for like adults. Like it wasn't like a kids show. It was like geared towards a more grown audience. So it was crude and crass, is like what they called it. And one of the songs, you could tell that the director, who's such a good guy, like so funny, genuinely super talented, he's of a generation above ours, and he wrote it.
There's so many above us.
Yeah, yeah. And he wrote it, or he was like the lead writer, and there were so many jokes pointed at Gen Z. There was a whole musical number for about like with like Count Dracula trying to figure out how to like get the attention of like Gen Z and their phones. And it was like really I watched the show twice because I had to be there for photography. And the first one didn't have a lot of audience because it was like a limited showing. It was like for just like coworkers and stuff. So like I had to show up for opening night to get the audience and to get some like crowd response. And it's hilarious. It was such a good show, and like they had a good audience there for night one, especially. But it was like I've heard so much slander just related to that, unrelated to that. It's like these cringeworthy things, like, cause it's cringy, but it's funny. It's like that's like Gen A.
Yeah.
That's like after us. Like that's them alpha
Yeah.
kids, man. Like that happened. That started in 2012. Those kids are getting up there. Like leave us
Those are-
alone, dude.
Them guys are brain rot, man.
Yeah, like
I'm talking about brain rot. Like
I at
I'll
least
say that I'm on my phone a lot. But
I
like what
work
you're
on my
talking
phone.
about, nowhere near, buddy. Nowhere near.
This is where I will
But it's
say,
all
yes, we grew up with the internet, but the first smartphone didn't come out till I was like 6 or 7, and I didn't get a phone till I was like 13, 14. So
yeah, I was sixth grade with my first phone, and that was because I was 2 generations behind on the iPhones.
yeah, I got, dude,
I
my
remember
first
the
phone.
sliders.
I was in the sixth grade, 12, 13, like
Yeah.
sixth grade
Yeah.
going into seventh grade or something. I got my
That was
slide
me.
phone. It was a tiny little LG slide phone. And when you slid it, it has like the
Yeah.
pad on it. The only reason
Yeah.
I got that, is because I was on a soccer team and my mom
Yep.
wanted to be able to keep up with me. That's the only
Yep.
reason I got one. So
Yeah.
I
I
don't
had to
want to
be
hear
picked
it.
up from archery.
Yeah, leave Gen Z
Yeah.
alone. There are annoying Gen
Yep.
Zers. Trust me.
I didn't even get a SIM card, or like I didn't get.
No, yeah, it was just
If I had to text, I had to have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it was just there so you could reach out. Like that was
Yeah.
it. Like it wasn't, you couldn't play on it. It was that's it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Not loathe, but I highly disagree with the slander towards our generation. And I think that comes, you know why I think that's there? This is way off topic. I'm
Mm.
sorry. This is spawning from the Minecraft conversation. Gen Z is getting old enough to actually make political decisions.
Now they're
Now those above us, you got millennials, you got Gen Xers, you've got, whatever, the greatest gen, all that. They're looking down and they're saying, you guys can't make decisions. You guys do this. And they're pointing at an 8-year-old kid. It's like,
Yeah.
not us, actually.
no.
Incorrect.
And to be fair, I don't like millennials either.
The feeling's mutual.
you wanna just, dude, from the demolishing of homes to the hold that heyday has on them. You want to talk about iPad babies? Look at the millennials who are playing Heyday.
What is that
I'm
statistic? Is
calling
that
out
like
several.
those who played, now this was probably well outdated because I remember hearing this like years ago, but like those who play the most mobile games and are on there from the longest are like moms, like middle-aged and older moms.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
My mom, she's not a millennial, but yeah,
I
she's on
gotta
it.
go toilet my garden. And they're just playing a word game. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the generation saying you guys are on your phone too much. Okay, go to level 1 million on Candy Crush, all right?
which see, that's the crazy part is because we probably have the same amount of screen time, but I'm not on Heyday. I guess is my argument.
Dude,
It's like I may not be doing much better things, but I'm not playing Heyday.
The last like game that I had on my phone,
That's
I
just
was
sitting
I
there.
was in early high school, and I'll tell you, like not counting Wordle and not counting like that sort of thing. It was in early high school, and it was called World Conqueror 3. And you know what it was? It was a World War II strategy turn-based game where you picked a country and you just played.
Mm,
You could like you had to keep track of your resources, and you got into battles and skirmishes. You could pick whether it didn't matter which side. You just picked a side and you went. I'll tell you, Australia had the best navy in the entire world with when I ran them. It was kind of a cheat, dude. It was so as Australia, you're so far away from everybody that I just sat there and mined resources and just popped out naval ship for like literally like 50 rounds. Then
yeah.
when the Axis came like trying to come down on me, there was just an entire sea of just Navy warship.
Right.
It was over. It was over.
I
Like
mean, why would you ever need infantry?
right, yeah. Like I genuinely like when I started having to fight back, I'd go up the coast of one of these countries and just bomb the heck out of the side, throw some troops on, they just overtake. Like it was the easiest.
Yeah.
It just was a grind. Like so anyway,
Right.
that was the game I played, and that was in like early high school, and then I got done with it, and it was like, oh. Anyway,
Well, I mean, I have average over the days 5 to 6 hours generally. So you could say that I'm on my phone quite a lot. Now I do work off of my phone
I was about to say
sometimes.
I'm a social media manager, like at the heart of my
Right.
job. So I'm on my phone making posts all day. So mine's probably like 9 hours. Like it's something crazy.
Yeah.
But
I used to be much worse back when I was jobless or in college. I mean, it was double digit.
yeah,
Half of my day could be spent on my phone.
yeah, I'd be
Oh
scared to look at
man.
my numbers. This is so off topic, and I'm sorry, but
Sorry.
it's
Anyway.
it's an important topic to have. Leave us alone because we have some millennial and Gen X viewers, and if you disagree with us, you should comment, and we'll talk about it on a film podcast, not
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
sure I'll eat some of my words if any of the people from work watch this episode in particular. Either one, you're talking about my son, or or two, hey, I'm a millennial.
Hey, that's about me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hate you. No, no. You have some opinions about housing decorations that I disagree
Going back to film.
with. Going back to film.
I'm going to say this real quick, then we're going to move on to our next segment. We also have kind of a revamped, starting next week, you're going to notice a different in our layout. The show's going to look a lot different, and we think you're going to really like it. But secondly, and most importantly, this week, we've changed a little bit. So no more major news and quickish hits. We're going to move on to news, and you'll notice, you'll know it when you see it, but that's different. But right before we move on, some things that were really interesting to me from this past week's box office going down past number 5. Until Dawn has dropped to 8. It was 5. It's just in its third week in theaters, and it has absolutely crashed. It has earned 18 million domestically. Not a good number for a film that was trying to hit hard. And then the other thing is The King of Kings is still 10th.
Yeah,
That
holding on.
that animated
Fifth week.
film, it has earned 59 million domestically.
Yeah.
How many is it? What's it made? It has made 65 million worldwide. That's a success for an unknown, unheard of animated religious flick.
So sorry, I'm going to cut you off here. I just
There you go.
noticed that A24 has a limited showing of Friendship with Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd in 6 theaters right now. And I honestly think that one's probably pretty good.
I'm
Pretty good
so
movie.
excited. Paul Rudd just
Like,
ditches this poor awkward man. There's a clip of like a teaser where Tim Robbins is trying to get his friend or his family to go to like a basketball game. I think he said it was a Knicks game. It's like, let's go watch the Knicks or
Yeah.
something to that effect. And his wife's like, looks at him across the room. She's at like the head of a dining table, and he's across the room in the living room, in the connected living room, in like a recliner. And she's like, my ex asked me out for drinks tonight, just openly. And he goes, and as she says that, their like teenage son walks in, and Tim Robinson's character's like, your mom's ditching us. I guess we got to go to the Knicks game. And the son's like, or no, it was a movie. It's like, I guess we got to go watch that new Marvel. And his son's like, I've
Yeah.
actually already seen it. It's bad. And Tim Robinson's like, spoilers. He's like yelling and like as Tim Robinson does. It looks so funny. It looks absolutely. It's like I'm gonna cringe like I did on The Office. It's just gonna make me really mad, uncomfortable. But Tim Robinson just has a knack. That sense of humor just hits me right in the.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so just the doggy door scene, and I think you should leave. I think about that all the time, and
Yeah.
I love him so much.
I
So
I I say that.
yeah, I know you
Ryan
do.
caught me at the shoot
So
just saying Tim Robinson buzzwords.
you don't have to say you do that because so fun fact is I was tethered to Jake, tethered, or I guess he was tethered to me.
No, I forget that you hear everything I say.
And I have these headphones on connected to a mic that he is holding as he's tethered to me. I hear everything. So this man's over there just stimming on Tim Robinson. I heard every word the entire 30 or 23 hours. So that was a I know.
Sometimes I whisper sweet nothings into
I
it.
know.
The only person who can hear is him.
Dude, like it was like the director's trying to talk to me. I'm holding a camera and the director's trying to talk to me, and I literally all I hear is Jake like in the mic, like, and I'm like, ah! It's terrible. Like he's making noises, or
I
the
feel
worst
bad
part.
now because
There are times there are times where you're not even talking. You have the pole, like, because he's got to have it really extended to go over. He has it like pointed backwards at the tree line behind us, so I just hear birds. And I have these up, and I'm like doing something with the camera, and the director's like, "Hey, I think we should do this," and I cannot hear him. All I'm hearing are birds. Like it happens so many times. I heard like there were cows, there was boats going across the lake. I was hearing everything but what was being told to me, on top of Jake's banter.
I've had it like 10 feet before, like 4 feet above my head, which is over the shed we were standing by at one time. And I use it like a periscope on a submarine sometimes. And I could just turn it wherever I want it to go. And there was probably one time that it was facing behind us over the shed where we couldn't hear a thing over the shed because it blocks all the sound. And there's likely a party or like gunshots. I mean,
Oh
we're out in the middle of nowhere, right? So
yeah,
I can only imagine what he heard. Ryan probably felt like he was in the party two doors down.
dude, it was bad. Like there was the amount of times I'd take off the headphones and be like, because I'm looking around and no one heard it. No one else heard it. They're looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm just like, "What was that?" Because I'm connected to a boom mic, and I hear everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of our problems. We have to go to break. So coming up after the break, we talk about cinema news, including show renewals. Brad Williams and Peter Dinklage they have beef apparently, Amazon censorship, and a lot more. So that's all coming up next. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Screen. I checked between our segments, and the lottery just happened. The Bulls got the 12th pick. The Bulls got the 12th pick.
The movies are also.
Yeah, they're happening. The Bulls got the 12th pick, for those who care.
The movies were finalized.
The Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks won the NBA lottery, the draft lottery. They have the number 1 pick. They're going to get Cooper Flagg, who's considered a generational talent. Remember, Jake, the Luka Doncic trade that everyone and their mom was talking about for forever?
Yeah.
That's the team that traded him away.
Oh, so that's one of those. It was decided. It was like one of those. What am I trying to say?
You say it was rigged. Yeah, that's what people will say. Like there are already people saying the lottery was rigged. There were people saying that the Mavericks won the trade. This guy, Nico Harrison, is the worst executive in the NBA, and he just got the luckiest break of his life. The fact that they landed the first pick after trading away, they don't have draft picks after 2028 till like 2035 or something crazy like that. Like they're not going to bring in new talent after a certain year. And the 1 year they had a pick, they just got the best pick in the draft. And they're going to have a franchise player for that entire time. What luck. That makes me so angry, actually. Like, it's not even that the Bulls just got the 12th pick. They barely did better than what they were projected to do. The Dallas Mavericks lucked out. This could be a sports show. Anyway, tell us about the renewed... in the between segments... Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I'm going to get off topic. I had thought there was something on the Dallas Mavericks trading away their best person so they could move states and sell the arena or
That was
whatever.
another conspiracy, was that in the build up to the trade that came out of nowhere, is that Dallas had actually declined, or the city had rejected an offer for the organization to build a new stadium and add a casino like portion. The city said
Right.
no, because I think the new owner has like, or someone high up in the organization has like a casino like business.
Yeah.
And the conspiracy was that they traded away Luca to make themselves so bad that they would be forced to move.
Yeah.
That would be like their like card to move to Vegas. Well, that's not happening now. I mean, like whether that was the move or not, they just
Right.
picked up Cooper Flagg, who is, again, he's going to be a guy that, like, their window is like 2 to 3 years. Like the guy they traded for is older, and the rest of their core, like that they're going to rely on to try to win a championship, they're not going to be the same level in 2 years. So their win time is now. But now that they're going to pick up Cooper Flagg, that extends that window, because all they have to do is, like, now that they have that center stone again, they just move bad contracts, get money off the books, and sign. Now they have that, like, because now other players want to play with him.
Yeah.
Other players will say, "Oh, I want to play with Cooper Flagg." So, like, it's not a big deal now. It's like, I hate it. I hate it so much, because they literally, this is not a joke. That is the worst trade in NBA history when they traded Luka. The worst trade in NBA history. They followed that up 2.5, 3 months later by getting a generational talent at number one, just by luck. You can't write it. Scripted. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to call that. Anyway, tell us the updated box office news before we quickly move into the news.
Thunderbolts 32.3 instead of 33.1, so it dropped a little bit. Sinners, a little bit more, 22.1 instead of 21.1, so another million. Minecraft movie it earned another. You said it was almost 8. It actually got 7.6.
Oh,
The
wow.
Accountant 2, you said it earned 6.1. That was estimated, of course. It earned 6.7. Clown in the Cornfield, total 3.65. You were not wrong. 3.648991. So not very far off.
Not at all.
Uh,
Pretty accurate numbers this week.
Decently accurate. Minecraft was up?
Mm-hmm.
No, Minecraft was down from what estimated. But the Accountant got better, and Sinners got better, and Thunderbolts went down. So
At least this wasn't like that week where we were like, oh yeah, they're back, they're neck and neck, anyone could win, and then as soon as we say that, they flip. Like the numbers
Yeah.
are finalized, they instantly flip. Yeah,
by a lot.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
a lot.
It was like a completely
Several million.
inaccurate estimate. Yeah, that
Yeah.
that was a challenging episode. But anyway, so there's your updated. Nothing changed other than just a
Oh.
few 100,000 here and there. One with a million. Sorry, go ahead.
I got one more thing. According to this, Snow White was put back into 1,000 theaters from like 310, and raked in another 467,000 this week on the 8th week, which is kind of weird. I don't know why.
Who's doing that? Why are you doing that?
20 theaters.
That movie has made over $200 million.
Snow White,
Yes.
200 million. Yeah.
Nope.
I don't know. Domestically, 86 million, but it's like, what? Just really want that 500,000, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We got to get to
I don't know.
5, please.
I don't know, but Friendship, that showed in 6 theaters, almost beat it. Actually, it's still estimated right now. It has a chance at, it needs $16,000 more dollars at those 6 theaters. That's crazy that you're about to lose to a 6 theater showing with over 1,300 theaters.
That just shows, hey, I'm excited for Friendship, and I think a lot of people are.
I think it's going to be good.
So moving in to our news this past week. So we have about 8 big pieces of news to talk about, starting with the studio has been renewed at Apple TV Plus. So the hit drama, or comedy, I should say, from Apple TV comes back for a second season. So the synopsis from Screen Rant is, quote, the Apple TV Plus satire series stars Seth Rogen as Matt Remick, a self-described cinephile who is appointed president of a fictional film studio and struggles with the conflict between art and commerce. And I have heard it to be very accurate. I've heard it to be very real, and I've heard it to be very funny. It's got an all-star Like its guest list from week in to week out is insane. The stars it's been able to pull in as guest stars on each episode. And people love it. It's been critically acclaimed for a long time now, since its run has begun. I know that someone was telling me, I haven't seen it, but someone has told me that the one of the episodes is called The Oneer, and the entire episode is shot in one take from beginning to end. It's just one long
Dude.
shot, which we did about a 2.5 minute oneer, and it was terrible. Like it was fun,
It was very
but
hard.
it's a tough, like, and we were moving in one room, like following the outline, like ducking, and it looks great, but it's just like 30-minute oneer. When I heard that, I was like, there has to be an invisible cut in there. Like there has to be something that you just don't see because it's almost impossible. But supposedly they did it, and I'm excited to sit down and watch that.
Well, I mean, for an episode, instead of like multiple scenes, like 1917 was, which that had invisible cuts, right?
Yeah, yeah. It seemed like it was one take.
Um, for I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it's a lot easier to do a oneer if it's like an episode. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't very hard. It was probably very hard.
That is a level
Uh,
of we've talked about this, about like building the storyboard and planning and effectively talking to everybody. Like that is like a level
yeah.
of that is like to the upteenth degree. Like
Everybody's got to be like perfect, tip top shape.
I wonder if that would almost be more like theater.
Yeah, I mean, even theaters make some mistakes, right? And they just keep on going, whether the audience knows it or not.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's gonna be like that for viewers, where it's like that maybe there were mistakes and they had to go with it, right? And we'll never know because we weren't involved enough to
How would we
notice
know?
those mistakes.
Yeah.
How would we know? Like there was a time I saw a performance at, and they made a mistake, but it was so on point. Or there was even like it was something crazy, like someone's pants falling down, and everybody was just thought that that was what was supposed to happen because they played it so well.
Yeah. You talk about
So
this is something so unrelated, but you talk about like theater. And I saw this really funny clip. I saw this really
he's taking this moment and he's running.
I saw this really funny clip. I just was thinking about, like, 'cause this actually adds to it because it shows how easily things could go wrong. I saw this really funny clip from a play that it was Peter Pan. It was like Neverland or something. And the scene was supposed to be Peter. He was like the actor, and Peter too, or Wendy as well, was hooked up to like wires you couldn't see, and so like they pulled the rope, and they were light enough that when they pulled the rope a certain way, it looked like they shot up and flew, and like how Peter Pan does.
Yeah.
And the way the scene was supposed to work was like they had like the prop build of the window, and Wendy was like, it was like we're facing the window, and Wendy's bed was like to the left of that, and she was laying in the bed, and
Yeah.
the doors were supposed to open, and then Peter was supposed to like Peter Pan himself jump in, and the way they do that is they tug the rope and he flies in, right? Well,
Yeah.
the stage manager pulled the wrong rope. And so in that scene, the window's open and Wendy just flies up like out of the bed.
No
It looked
way.
like a scene from like Paranormal Witness or Paranormal Activity or something, because it was just the
Yeah.
funniest thing ever, because she had no idea. So she was upside down and she flew from a horizontal position just up. And when she
Yeah.
fell back, the actor for Peter like climbed up, and it was a really funny, like I saw that, and it was just, and that was in front of a live audience, and so it was like
Man.
it just looked so good. It just the jarring nature of it, like seeing what it was supposed to look like, and then seeing the jarringness of like her flying out was really good. And that, I know that like is like
Yeah.
kind of off topic, but the reason that I say this is like in theater, there's no cuts, right? Like there are like breaks, and they cut, or like they lower the lights and they change the set. But when that scene starts, beginning to end, like you can't cut, like you can't go away. Like it's exactly what you're saying. It's like you got to riff and you got to play off it and you got to figure it out. And I feel like that is how they played this. This is just a play, but with a lot of motion from room to room with a camera. But you got to act like that camera is just an audience, like the end of stage, an audience.
Yeah. Man, I couldn't do it. There's no way.
No. I mean, I think it'd be fun to take part in but I don't know if I would want. Well, I don't actually. I lie. I would love to have the camera in my hands because I love seeing how things develop. Like I'd love to see it
Yeah.
happen. But dude, like the marks you have to hit, and like I've seen before where like they will have multiple camera ops and like it's one motion, but they have like a stopping point and they will slowly hand it off, and so I'm sure that happened. But the idea of like following for 30 minutes holding that thing on like it's probably on a gimbal, some sort of like a body chest, like there's like a piece that like steady cams it. The idea of following that for 30 minutes and knowing every mark in every room as you're going through, that is
Have
like
you seen the handoff ones? I think
yes,
1917 did it, but like where they hand it off to a car or a crane
yes,
or something, and it connects. Dude, that's what's crazy.
mm-hmm. There's another war film that does it where the camera op like sat in the bed of a truck, like he's walking back, is attached to his like chest. He's walking back, and he sits on a truck, and you'd never know. And then the truck takes off with him, and that's how they get. Because the way it like follows them, tracks, and then when they get to a certain point, he stops, and the camera just goes. And I think the idea in the
Yeah.
scene was that like he was trying to chase somebody who was getting in a truck, and he just wasn't there in time. But we never see the truck portion or like the other person leaving. So it's just this dude failing, and it's just crazy. Like the idea of like, okay, I'm gonna back up. I'm not gonna lose my shot, and I'm gonna find a truck bed that is
Yeah.
down to sit in, and then just I'm gone. Nuts to me. Like that, I like
Right.
it makes me like I want to like try it. Like I'm like ooh, like that seems cool. Anyway,
Right.
and that's what the studio did. That's how all these things connect. I'm excited to watch it. And I'm excited to hear about what goes on with that because it's a very interesting story. I've heard it's very real. It's very funny, and Seth Rogen
Yeah.
at his best. Moving on.
Awesome.
Brad Williams has a take on Peter Dinklage comments surrounding Disney's Snow White. We actually discussed this. We
Yeah.
actually took Dinklage's side. We agreed with him to some extent. We were like, yeah, I could see why that's a thing. This is why I love different perspectives, is because Brad Williams offers a insight from another perspective that is so real that it gives me pause. I'm not going to say I have a perspective on this because obviously, like, I can't, but
Yeah.
it is interesting to hear this. So while speaking on the Tom Segura hosted podcast Your Mom's House, comedian and actor Brad Williams criticized comments made by Peter Dinklage about the inclusion of dwarves in the Snow White remake and the fallout that led to the subsequent use of CGI models in the film instead of actors. I think there was one actor, true actor, used in the use of the CGI characters. So Williams states, they CGI dwarves. There we are. Aren't those... I'm not going to say that. I believe the reason is literally Peter Dinklage. He is really good, and I'm not a fan of him for this. Dinklage kind of went, oh, I hope they're not doing the dwarf thing again. Like, we have to deal with that. And I'm sitting here like, well, some of us would like to deal with that. Some of us would like to have the opportunity to deal with that because there's not that many roles.
Right.
What is your perspective on that?
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, it just goes to show you that, I mean, perspective, right? Everything is relative to your experiences, and I stand by this. It's something I don't even have a saying that I can quote that is the reason why. I think it was just somebody in passing, I don't think it was something I thought up on my own. I don't think I'm that smart, but it's just something that I've grown to understand and believe about everybody is the what you've experienced from age 0 to now is what has molded your perspective about everything you have an opinion on. And any small chink in that multiversal armor changes you as a person, and you think something completely different because you had one experience or something,
Mm,
um and this is one of those things where it's like Brad Williams lived a very different life and still lives a very different life from Peter Dinklage or you or me, and that is why Brad Williams thinks the way he does.
yeah.
And that is just, and it boils down. I mean, big umbrella statement here is like that's just why we live in a society, or like that's just how it works, right? That's why everybody is entitled to their own opinion because everybody has had a different experience, and I think that's a very beautiful thing, and why you can't just take one person's opinion um, and take it as fact or as gold because that one person hasn't experienced everything.
Yeah.
Um, and why I think that if you have an opinion 2 weeks ago, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're set in stone and you can't change your mind, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you might change your mind and be wrong too. Like there's it's ever changing, right? It could be you could be right, you could be wrong, you could be moral, you could be immoral, you can do all these different things. And so philosophically, I think it's a very interesting um, argument or philosophical take that um, our experiences change us, and that is why we are who we are. So the way that Brad says, I mean, it's there's not many roles for someone with dwarfism um, really puts that into perspective with like, well, I was very narrow-minded thinking about Peter Dinklage's point of view because obviously I have no perspective from either side. So a thought leader, I would say Peter Dinklage is a pretty good one in terms of film and media.
Yeah.
He's a decent thought leader on what it is like to have dwarfism in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's the only point of view or perspective? No, it is just the one I was hearing at that point that I could agree with.
Yeah.
Um, but I do enjoy hearing other takes. It's always nice. The more opinions and people to talk, the better, right?
Yeah.
Because all those experiences can be combined, and a better opinion or decision can be formulated because of it.
I
So
completely agree.
I'm not gonna say like because I haven't listened to the full Brad Williams take, so I can't really decide on either or uh, right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just very beautiful, very beautiful. The back and forth, the disagreement. You can't disagree with anybody anymore. I swear.
No, and I agree because like so the thing is that too is that I get what Dinklage is trying to say is that like look we're past this like this is like the characters were made as a stereotype of a group of people who are born with something that they shouldn't be ashamed of. And I
Yeah.
completely get it. In his mind, it's like, why are we not treated like any other actor? Why can we not get any role like anyone else? Why? Why? And I that is what we agreed with originally was, hey, like I get it. But also now it's like I think Brad Williams, and this is why exactly what you said, you put it beautifully, and I'm not going to try to recreate what you had put because you put it so perfectly. Brad Williams is saying, but that's not reality. The reality is we are typecast, and it's hard for people with dwarfism or just little people in general to get roles
Mhm.
because of something that's not their fault. But again, at the end of the day, it's just the way it is. So it's like limiting the roles makes it difficult, you know. And so it's like
Right.
so I think from Brad Williams' perspective, he's like, but what other roles are we going to get? I
Yeah.
feel like that's a I hate that because at the end of the day it's still pointing out a problem with culture and especially in like Hollywood and like cinema
Yeah.
is where like there's still that disconnect. But it's just being real. And I love that because again, I would never have thought about it like that. I didn't even give that perspective of well, what other roles? Because at the end of the day, it's like that is as Brad Williams is painting, that is apparently a reality. So yeah, I
Mhm.
perfectly put.
It's the robbing of opportunity um, without. I mean, there can be opportunity with awareness,
Yeah,
right? Um, so, like, yes, we are aware that this film um, was written in the sense against those with dwarfism.
yeah,
However, um, these actors still went through with it and are going to portray because I mean, as we all make fun of, like Snow White is woke, and so I mean, that's what they
yeah.
want you to
No,
believe
yeah, yeah.
anyway. But I think that if the actors want you or if the actors want to portray in that movie and choose to, then why not, right?
Why
Don't
limit?
take away opportunity. Um, but also be aware, be cognizant of the what the legacy of that, and
Yeah,
let's try to make it better. Um, right? Let's make this a positive spin on a not so so positive past, and it's also something that hit with me. I'm trying to remember it. So philosophical again. It's it goes back to this kind of pertains, but not really. It's like I want McDonald's to be healthier. They should have a salad option on the menu. I don't go to McDonald's to buy a salad.
Yeah.
However, I want it to be healthier for those who do eat salads and go to McDonald's wanting a salad. But I'm never going to buy a salad. That's me begging McDonald's for a salad that I'll never eat because I think it's giving an opportunity to somebody who will eat it. And
Ye-
there's a term for that in either philosophy or in something where salads are one of the worst selling things that McDonald's had ever put out, and they have continued to bring it back and take it off the menu because of that fallacy,
Yeah.
that philosophical thing is like this thing doesn't sell. Nobody buys this, but because everybody wants it for someone else, it is brought back. And I used it at work because everybody wanted a microphone for the crowd to use to voice their opinion, but we rarely get any kind of people asking questions during our town hall meetings. And it's like, well, I don't think giving a microphone is going to have someone speak up because there's nothing stopping them from speaking up right now, raising their voice.
Yeah.
Giving them a microphone, I don't know, but like, and it very well might. And I'm taking the McDonald's side on that one because I don't think a microphone is gonna have people speak up just because
Yeah.
they haven't before.
Yeah.
What's making them louder? But there's others who was like, well, I mean, if they do, they'll have a microphone. If they want a salad, they'll have a salad.
Yeah. And
But the ebbs and flows.
I'll put it this way too: is that like you got to think. I think Peter Dinklage is coming from a place to where, if you think about the roles he's had, let's go in like chronological order here. If you think of him in Elf, the joke was that he was a little man, right? If you think about him in Game of Thrones as Tyrion Lannister, right? The arguably the best character in the entirety of the series in the book. The thing about that character is that he is like malformed and he is like people look at him like he's a beast, like or like he's wrong, and they cast somebody who's a little person to play that. And it's
Yeah.
like that is like when you describe or when you read the description of what the character looks like in the George R. R. Martin like in his work, the best way to capture that was to hire a little person. And so I think the point he's saying is that like I get the point Dinklage was making, but from Brad Williams' perspective is like, okay, what if they decided that that was wrong and they hired some like they wanted to be more inclusive and didn't want that to be representation of what we're talking about, so they didn't. They decided that they weren't going to go with a little person. All of a sudden, the most iconic role that Dinklage has ever played, he's not even an option for. So it's like I get it. Like I get both sides. I can't have an opinion. I just love the perspective change, and I think that if there is an opinion to be had, it's things have to change, and I think that there has to be more like we have to see people for people. And why can't Peter Dinklage get whatever role he wants? Like if the reason is because he's a little person and he just doesn't fit the bill of whatever stereotype, then I think that there needs to be some change. But I also understand with that the way things are, you don't want to limit. There is a line, but Brad
Yeah.
Williams is probably arguing, but the dwarves weren't that. So
Right.
anyway,
And I guess to tie in my whole McDonald's speech back is like, well, if Brad Williams sorry, if Peter Dinklage wants more roles, um, to not be typecasted, um, but then nobody with dwarfism takes those roles. He's
yeah,
only talking for himself,
yeah,
I guess. Which I doubt. I doubt there's if you have a role open that anybody can apply to, and like everybody with dwarfism applies to it, somebody's gonna get it.
yeah,
I guess so. It doesn't really work there, but that is. I just thought it was an interesting take. Um, that
yeah.
it's like, well, if everybody wants the option for somebody else, then nobody's gonna take it.
Well, this is what I'll say too: is like, is Brad Williams kind of playing into that fallacy you're describing? Because would he have? He's a very successful man, comedian, actor. He does not need to
Yeah.
take that role. Would he have been interested? Is he doing what you're saying? Is he saying no? We got to
Yeah.
leave those options open for other people. And I think that you're right. I think that's exactly what Brad Williams is playing into as well. Is he wrong? No. It's a great perspective. It's a great different like change of pace and it's a great information gatherer. But at the same time, is he playing into that fallacy to where he's like, I would never have taken it? Because if he genuinely was interested, that's different. But like,
Yeah.
he did. I've not heard the entirety of the interview, but I don't, to my knowledge, he never said I wanted it. All I know is he said it's
Yeah.
hard there are no roles for little people.
Some of us would like to have that opportunity to deal with that because there's not that many roles.
What does that mean? Does that mean he wanted
Right.
it? You know, like that doesn't
Some of
say
us.
that. Yeah, some of us. That
Yeah,
doesn't
some of us
say
would
I
like
want
to
it.
Yeah.
All right.
But we can move on. But
Yeah.
it's very interesting to think about, especially, well, not especially, but we are outside of that dilemma.
Yeah.
But I think it applies to a lot of other things, either in Hollywood or day to day, that you just think about. Like that's what I think about. It's like, man, do I want this, and nobody else like would even take the opportunity for it,
Yeah.
because I want it for them. I don't know. Like I think about that all the time, and I try to tell myself that yes, this has a purpose.
I think you're completely right.
Somebody's going to use this because I'm building landing pages. I'm building a website with Lego bricks. Basically, is how I tell everybody I do it. Is I have predefined Lego bricks, make web pages, like a Wick Studio or a GoDaddy kind of deal. And it's like, well, is anybody even going to look at this landing page? Like, is anybody even going to use it? And time again, I am proved wrong. Like there's traffic to those. They have purpose. We link to them. We push ads out. Like there is purpose, but I ask myself that every time, and that is kind of how I build the website in the back of my mind is, well, how would somebody use it? How, if I'm in this mindset, how do I build that website?
Yeah.
Um, so I try my best to, if anybody's going to look at it, it's somewhat coherent to their problem.
Yeah.
So
We'll go ahead and move
moving
on.
on.
Yeah, to the next topic of discussion. Amazon has seemingly cut out text from the opening scroll in Ridley Scott's 2010 action adventure Robin Hood, starring Russell Crowe. I don't know if you saw anything about this, Jake.
I heard you talking about it on the set.
Yeah, so the text that they have seemingly swiped or like kind of cleared out from the beginning of the film, it's the very first thing you see. It reads, quote, "In times of tyranny and injustice, when law oppresses the people, the outlaw takes his place in history." Instead of it reading that, it is blank.
Didn't even replace it with anything.
The scroll, the film opens with like, it looks like old timey parchment paper, and it's got like the old timey like handwritten whatever, and that's how you read it. It does that, but it's just empty. That's it. And people have noticed it, and they especially so when the fans of the film also who have the digital copy are like, or the DVD are like, that's weird. So I would.
Yep.
What do you think? Because I think it's pretty telling that Amazon would feel the need to wipe that.
Yeah, that's pretty rough in terms of the Constitution. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. It's Amazon. Am I right, people? Can I get a comment saying it's Amazon? I don't know how you would comment that. There's this emoji. You can just say it's Amazon. Shrug. What are you gonna do? Kind of deal. Like Amazon. Like I don't know, like an Urkel thing. Did I do that? Yeah, you did. You did, Amazon.
And people thought they wouldn't notice. That's like what's funny is it's like, oh, this 2010 movie by Russell or with Russell Crowe. Let's just wipe the beginning of that talks about the vigilante and tyranny. And the thing is that there's sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like if you think you're going to get away with anything in this day and age when smartphones are so huge, as we talked about earlier in this episode, yeah, good luck. You could do it to a 1970s movie and people would still notice.
I will say this: there is no room for like pandering to the idea that it's all in people's heads. All these worries we've talked about, all this stuff that people like we've brought up and discussed on this show politically. And I hate to be political, but it's more and more involved in the media and in film, and so it's impossible to just ignore. People like this in places such as Amazon, who are owned by the people they're owned by, who are connected to the people they're connected to, erasing text in a movie from 15 years ago talking about tyranny and the rise of the vigilante due to that oppression. The exclusion of that is so purposeful. You wonder why.
Yeah.
You cannot look at that and then turn around and say, "Oh, they're not doing nothing." That's weird.
Right.
To get to say we're going to do a third term and education, we're going to take all this money away from public broadcast, and we're going to take all this money away from education. And oh, and by the way, Amazon bend the knee and Bezos bends the knee. Oh, all of a sudden things talking about tyranny's gone. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that's just let's just common sense it up. That's all I'm gonna say, because this is ridiculous. That, like, this is the thing that like radicalized me. I think it's like, all right, this it's now getting weird. Like, it's been weird. It's been odd. There have been things that you couldn't ignore, and now it's like, really, are you that worried that people are gonna point you out that you try to erase talks of tyranny and oppression and the rise of the vigilante? Like, really? Okay. Anyway,
Yeah. And this happens. I think this happens across the board from someone who's not into politics at all. I fence it all day. Number one, because I don't care. We've had the debate before, Ryan.
could care less.
I could
Yeah.
care less. I live my day to day. I don't know. That's just how I live my life.
Bet you're happier that way too.
And yeah, yeah, I do not worry a bit about politics in the slightest. I pay $5 for my eggs, or I pay $2 for my eggs. I am, I hate to say it, comfortable with that jump in eggs. Like, and that is my experience, right? I get pissed off at other things other than eggs. So
Yeah.
that's my opinion on things, whether or not there are other opinions. Anyway, uh, I've seen many of people claim many of things on both sides. Whether or not it's true, I never call them on it because I don't know, nor do I think it should take up my time. I could be working on a motorcycle or movie posters or just thinking about.
He bought a motorcycle, guys. I don't know if you knew this.
Hey, I try to mention it every episode and every time I meet somebody.
No, I know.
I think it's one of the coolest things I've ever done.
It is pretty cool. And I'm excited to see you when you learn how to drive it.
See, that's the crazy part, right? That's what everybody's kind of like, oh, it's just because if they it's like, oh, this dickhead's just talking about a motorcycle now, whatever. Oh, you've never ridden one before. That's always the reaction I get from them, and I think that's funny. I
Yeah.
think that's so funny. It's not that they think I can. It's not that I don't think I can. It's just kind of like one of those. Why would you do that without knowing? And I think it's also, and this is stemming off, and I'll come back to movies in a little bit. But I think it's so funny that the motorcycle culture and the community is so shut off to those who have ridden either dirt bikes or in their youth. Like, you have to have ridden a motorized two-wheeled vehicle in your youth to get into motorcycles. And I am like one of those minority who is starting now.
Yeah.
Because only everybody I've asked, like I've asked people in parking lots, like motorcycles, people ride motorcycles in the parking lot. I haven't asked the motorcycle if he's ever ridden a motorcycle before,
You should try that.
but I've had the rider that's like, hey, how'd you learn how to ride a motorcycle? And it's always like either their dad had one, or they started on a dirt bike, or they started on something, right? And then they had to go through the necessary steps to get a permit. And most people have ridden motorcycles many years before they've done it legally. um, I think that then there's a lady at work who's done the path like I have, has taken a course as well as online courses and her permit, and so she did about it the right way because she wanted to ride with somebody else. Um, but you don't hear about it often. And anyway, um, where was I going? I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but politics and whatnot. This is weird for somebody who prefers to stick to the Constitution, um,
Yeah.
as more of a I believe in your right to live off grid, and the ATF is horrible.
Oh yeah.
The libertarian speaking, this is awful. And regardless of what side of politics you are, if you think the Constitution, I hold it in high regard. I'm surprised Amazon, like you had said, bent a knee. Um, I was under the impression they were on the other side. So
They're one of those companies that whatever power is in play, man. Like,
Disney,
yeah, yeah, they
which we'll
don't.
get to. We'll get to
Yeah, we're almost
next.
there. Yeah, they're coming literally like now.
Literally next. We could talk about it now if you want. Great
Yeah,
segue.
you know what? That's it. That's it. We're going on. We're moving on.
Disney. Anyway,
Disney. Lilo and Stitch director Dan Fleischer Camp disclosed on his TikTok through a live stream that he tried to get Disney to buy into the live action Jumbo and Pleakley in costume, like the hidden in disguise that we know and love from the animated film. But the House of Mouse turned him down. They said no. To his live audience on TikTok, Camp states, quote, I have had people message me, why is Pleakley not wearing a dress? And I just want to say, I tried. I tried. What followed were concept footage and images of the CGI Pleakley. We didn't just get him saying that. He sent out images, official images of Pleakley, the animated CGI version that's in this film, in a wig, in a dress, and it looked hilarious. Like it looked perfect. And Disney said no.
Oh, so is this one of those that like there might be a chance, right?
If
There
they
might
completely do a
be
reshoot, yeah.
a Sonic. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess they.
Because like the thing
Yeah.
is, they've already got the actors. We've seen them in the trailer.
Yeah, and I don't want to take that away from the actors who tried really hard on those roles
Yeah.
because it's not their fault, right?
No.
Dang, man, it's a little worse because like Sonic was live action CG. It's not like we're changing the look of Stitch. We're talking about taking away people's time, right? This
Yeah, right.
their shots, and so this is different.
It's a lot of money
There's the other
too.
perspective, right? Well, yeah, that. I mean, I'm not going to say that Sonic wasn't a lot of money to redo either.
Yeah.
But man,
I would
that generational fumble from Disney.
Yeah, I would love to talk to some of those like animators who worked on Paramount and or who worked with Paramount and Sonic and all that when that happened, because I would like to ask them like, how hard was it to do that? Because I know it was hard, but like, what feasibly would Disney have to do? And I think that the biggest point of like topic for that anyway, the biggest like point of conversation would be the thing about Sonic was that like he was already animated. It was just going back and updating. Whereas with this, they would have to completely like the blocking would have to change. They'd have to completely go in and redo all that. Whereas before they didn't have to. It was just the design. His how he took up the space didn't necessarily change. Whereas now Jumba is a colossal being. He's big. He's very wide.
Yeah. The alien himself is massive, whereas the guy portraying the disguised version is, I mean, normal human sized.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Isn't that Galifianakis? Isn't that Zach Galifianakis that plays Jumba? Am I wrong about that?
So, but I think it's a generational fumble, and what's crazy is Disney cannot seem to get it right.
No.
I mean, Disney cannot ride the pendulum. I mean, as we just talked with Amazon, politically, because you'd get backlash from the select few that don't agree with.
Yeah, that alien there is a he, and it's like, dude, it's a made up character.
Literally,
Pleakley is not described. I don't even think is Pleakley described as a he in the movie. I don't think so.
Sure. I would, if I get off this dang on podcast soon enough, I'd go watch it now.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to watch Lilo and Stitch.
Bro, you're taking away my Stitch time.
I'm trying to be politically accurate,
Jake,
and I'm doing this dang podcast. Anyway, yes, I don't think it would be a very large group of people that would be worried about an alien wearing a wig. That's just why it's so weird that they took the stance they did after coming from Snow White, where, like I said, a lot of people think it's super woke. Whether it is or not, I feel like it's a larger group of people that think that than think it should be an actual person without the wig. I mean, do we know if the actor has a wig on? It's likely not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that
I think the wig was completely nixed.
Yeah, I think that he's not. Well, yeah, the character is just they're a disguise is their hologram.
That's the disguise.
Yeah, it is Zach Galifianakis as Jumba, and it's Billy Magnuson as Pleakley.
Well, what would have been better? I mean, even a middle ground there was actress. Make
Yeah.
Pleakley an actress,
Well, yeah,
right?
because
And
again,
then
it's
and then just replace the wig with the full disguise, and that's just what Pleakley likes to wear.
yeah. Well, Pleakley said
And
that
then
that I don't even know now. I'm like, did he go by he? Pleakley said that they liked wearing the dress. Like,
yes, yes, and the wig, and I remember distinctly that they were fighting over the wig while they were
yeah,
staking out in the woods.
yeah.
What's gonna
No,
happen?
no. Yeah, he's like yelling. Yeah, I
Is
remember
that
that.
whole scene just
Probably not.
not around
They
anymore?
probably another argument about like how he likes being a human. Like he's like, oh, I like this look, and they probably fight over like the hologram or something, and then he flashes back to Pleakley for a second, and he like that's
Yeah.
probably what happens. Oh, if
Yeah,
I've called
they
that,
replaced it there, but not. Yeah, I could see that happening where they fight over that hologram instead of
yeah. It's like they're sitting in the
dude.
woods, and it's like like Zach Galifianakis is talking, but it's Jumba, and you have like the human, like you have Magnuson sitting next to him, and you like the CG Jumba's like take that off, and he's like actually I like it, and they like he like taps him or something, and he turns back. Like that'll be what happens is that they'll have like a mini fight over the hologram, and that'll be it,
Yeah.
and it'll be dumb.
I think that's with what we have to go off of. That's best case scenario. I really hope they don't cut scenes because
It
they
might be
made this
gone.
decision.
Yeah.
Great.
And I think before we because we could go on for literally hours, we're going to go ahead and go to break. So after the break, we will discuss the first MCU X-Men film and its potential director, the Beatles cinematic experience finds writers, John Wick 5 news, and more. So we'll see you then. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Be on the Screen. You've made it to segment 3. We're going to continue our cinema news coverage, but as always, when you get to our third and final segment, we just want to say thank you guys for being here. The fact that you've been here for over an hour is always is just crazy, and we can't appreciate you enough. And leave a comment, talk to us. We would absolutely love to get some feedback and to hear what you guys like, don't like, to have conversations with you guys and really expand what we're doing. Starting next week, you're gonna notice a really fun new layout. You're gonna notice we're bringing on more members to our team to hopefully bring you guys more quality content and maybe expand the content if that's feasible with what we're really planning on doing. So more to come. You'll see it start next week, and it'll be a slow roll. We've been very purposeful with how this show has gone thus far, and we've thus far accomplished everything we've set out to do, and now it's time to grow. And so
Oh, hopefully, we get a higher quality too.
yeah,
A
yeah,
bump in quality maybe.
we appreciate for those who don't know, we're outing ourselves. We've used Discord up to this point to record our calls and do our thing, and while
Yeah.
that has served our purpose and it's good quality audio, and there are some issues innately with the service. It's a great service, but it's time to go to something that's dedicated to presenting and broadcasting in the sense of what we're doing. So it's going to be an exciting new time in the podcast realm for us, and we hope that you guys take a liking to the new and improved look. Hopefully, new segments will be in line. Hopefully, more than one episode a week. Maybe I'm saying that as a teaser. Who knows? But more movie reviews, more on the socials. So stick around. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we really look forward to what's coming next. And I think you guys will like it too. So, with that being said, our first story.
There's not going to be any merch.
No merch, not yet.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Can you, a Beyond the Screen hat would look dope though. But
yeah.
on that note,
Yeah.
we will go ahead and there's a little bit of we're gonna have something different here. Jake Holtzclaw is going to be reading. What?
I'm kidding. Cold feet.
Go for it.
So, I've never done this before.
Be nice.
So, as the multiverse saga nears its end, Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios have already turned their eye to the next big move, right? Which is a new X-Men's movie,
Yeah.
X-Men's, X-Man, X-Women's, X-Thems
They's
movie.
all of them.
Any mutated individual, and they are looking to the Thunderbolts director Jake, and you looked this up for me, Ryan, beforehand, didn't you?
Yeah, Fleischer Camp.
Fleischer.
Dan Fleischer Camp. Or wait. No, I'm
No,
sorry. I'm sorry.
no.
Sorry. No.
Sorry.
I looked back up at
That might have been something else.
that's
then.
Lilo and Stitch.
You might
Hold on,
not have
I will
looked.
tell you.
Sorry. Schreier, and this is shows goes to
Schreier.
show you that Schreier. I shouldn't be the one doing this because I don't do
I'm
my due
sorry.
diligence
No,
to
I
check
gave you the
people's
wrong
names.
information. Jake Schreier.
Jake Schreier. So he did Thunderbolts. I believe he did uh the Beef and Skeleton Crew. So I believe that's the what is that? And is that not Star Wars?
Skeleton Crew is
Maybe that's
Star
not Star
Wars.
Wars. That is no. This is live action. So this is, but it looks like Star Wars. It's live action. Dude, I'm so out of it. I don't watch anything Disney Plus puts out. But yes, it is Star Wars. Skeleton Crew official trailer. I don't even know when that posted, but anyway, yes, Skeleton Crew. Beef was a movie about two individuals who hate life or something until they meet each other. It's like, sorry, the I'm getting off a tangent. Not talking about X Men anymore. It's a movie poster with like two middle fingers like this, but the characters are edited into the middle fingers, and so it's
Yeah.
two people yelling at each other with their middle fingers,
That's actually pretty good.
or
That's
with two hands.
genius.
I don't know. It's awesome. It's an awesome thing to see. And I was like, oh, that's dope. That's dope. Um, anyway, back to this. So this up and coming director Jake Schreier is, um, I guess the golden child, or the pick to be for this new X Men movie. Um, and then it has been pinned by a Michael Leslie who did Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and Dope Girls.
Mm.
Um, so he's being eyed. So it doesn't. It's not necessarily confirmed, right? Is that what that means, Ryan? You're the
Yes.
expert here. He's being eyed. So, but it's a really good chance. Um, Having proven himself with well-received Thunderbolts, he is emerged as the early choice to helm the MCU's first X-Men movie.
What an
X-Men
honor for
movie.
bro. I mean,
Right.
that's
So,
like a big deal.
yeah, it could either be, hey, let's put this new guy in there so we don't tarnish the reputation of our more seasoned guys. And if he wins, great, great. But if it fails, it flops. It's kind of like, oh, that Jake Schreier guy, he made the crappy X-Men movie. Um,
Get him out of
and they're,
here.
yeah, get him out of here, never to work again.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like one of those scapegoats that they can easily pawn off a really bad X-Men movie.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I
So
feel like, I mean, Thunderbolts has been thus far such a success. I feel like it's easy to just give it to the guy. I mean, he's in house. They have a tendency to run with directors when they're hot, which is like a
yeah,
big
that too.
big deal for them. Is that they breed directors. Like what did the Russo brothers do before they did X Men, or not X Men, but the Avengers? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, and they've not done great things since. So I get it, man. And I'm excited for them. Thunderbolts is so well received, and I'm excited to see what's going on with the MCU. Is so overdue for X Men content. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they've been sitting on that IP, um, like Spider Man.
yeah, yeah,
Like people have been sitting on these IPs, and it's like, well, are you gonna like I know it'll be saturated, but like kind of waiting on you to saturate it.
yeah. Throw it in there. Yeah. One of the few things I'm
Like
excited for the MCU. I'm happy to see it get back on track, though. As much as we give it crap, it is
yeah,
not like cinema is better when the MCU is good.
well, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people like to point the finger at the intertwined universe, and they'll boil it down to multiverse, but um, I think what the Avengers did, and that whole lead up was awesome. It's just it's been done. I attribute it to the battle royale of cinema.
Yeah,
It's yeah, PUBG and earlier and then Fortnite like made it great, but nowadays it's like I don't want to play a battle royale.
yeah,
I don't I don't want to watch another 8 to 10 film lead up to a universe. I want I like a Batman, and it can end at Robert Pattinson's first Batman movie. Like it does not have to continue. He does not have to be in the Justice League. He does not have to fight any other people because in the end of that movie, it's kind of just left there. You can somewhat assume. I like when movies do that. I also like when movies have that abrupt tragic ending. I like the tragedy sometimes too.
yeah.
Um,
Well, because it's
So
real. Like it feels real.
yeah, yeah. So it just like I know it's gonna happen, but we're gonna have to deal with another X-Men universe like level, and they're all gonna come together eventually
It's going
and
to be a
fight some
crisis
big
on.
bad.
It's going to be a crisis on Infinite Earth, and they're going to get rid of all the rest of them, and they're just going to have one, and then they're going to bring back the multiverse when it's convenient. Uh,
Yeah.
oh, I thought the multiverse was dead. All that work Loki did doesn't matter anymore. You know.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna see that in Doomsday.
Yep. Yep.
They're thinking the Loki's gonna die.
Like
Somebody's gonna go
officially.
kill Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, after all this that Loki did, and everything that Thor did to overcome his death because he was grieving, he got fat, right?
Yep.
That it was for nothing,
Yep.
and they're just gonna kill Loki again.
Yep.
They're like, I hope Thor sees him again before he dies, or I hope Thor sees him again at all. And I don't know. Like I think they probably will. I'm on that bandwagon. I'm just like they'll probably kill Loki off just because they're stupid.
Yeah. We'll see. And I think that's a great point to move on from Marvel because we have a couple more topics to discuss. So this next one,
Hmm.
director Sam Mendes, who did 1917, American Beauty, and Spectre, along with another James Bond with Daniel Craig Bond, anyway, has assembled a writing team of Jack Thorne, who did Adolescence, Jez Butterworth, who did Spectre, who helped on Spectre, and Peter Stragan, who wrote Conclave, to help these films. This collection of films would have been called a cinematic experience of Sam Mendes doing the 4 Beatles movies that are all interconnected. According to Empire, quote, they've got 3 Oliviers, or I don't know, I think that's how you pronounce that. It's a specific type of award. 3 Tonys, a couple of BAFTAs, and an Oscar between them. That they're the first scribes. And the thing is, there could be more, is why they phrase it like that. This is already 3 highly talented, multi-time award-winning, like just authors and screenwriters coming together for this, and there could be a 4th because so far there are 4 movies, and so they're talking about potentially adding a 3rd or a 4th writer to round it out. But they could also writers room it and come together as one final film. Each of the films covers, from my perspective, or from what I've read, they will cover each of the members, and that's how they will tell that story. So there's yet to be more announced. We'll see as times come. But Jake, what do you think about the potential for a Beatles universe?
So from what I saw that this was gonna be told, it was told from the 4 different perspectives of each of the members of the Beatles,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Um, and so I just think that that's a very interesting concept because Ryan and I have actually thought about doing a film like that, um, which is directly stemming off of a French film that we both watched,
Yeah.
that he watched first and then told me about, and I was like, dude, that's still awesome. We could still do that. But I just think that it's a very crazy point of view from stemming back from what we've talked about previously, is because everybody has different experiences, and you could change minute details, um, from the point of view of Ringo, who's been bullied
Yeah.
by the rest of the band. That's like the running joke, that the Beatles were always mean to Ringo. Um, but like from Ringo's point of view, it's gonna be so different than like John's point of view, where we know John wasn't like the best person.
Yeah.
Um, like nowadays we know that he wasn't the best person, and he also chose to be with the woman who he was with because I don't know. I like to make fun of her because she can't sing. Um,
What was her name?
Yoko
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Ono, right? Yoko Ono.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah. So every time you heard her sing, you'd say Ono.
Yeah. The clip of the sound guy muting her when they're on stage was yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyway, like the perspectives change, and I think that's so fascinating. Just from what we've talked about earlier, with because I know that it's gonna be, and it's crazy that they're gonna do 4 different movies too, right? And was it? Do you know if it's all at the same time? Are they all gonna come out at the same time?
I don't know. That's what they seem to say or like hint at because of the intricacies of trying to connect the stories. But at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if, because from a movie making standpoint, it makes a lot more sense to space them and then like market all of them because it
Well,
goes from like if you do all 4 at once, you're going to collect more of a pile versus if you do them all independently, you could have like $400 or $500 million films. So who's to say that they wouldn't do that if they were all released on the same day? But I don't know. That's like the details we don't have yet,
Right. Right.
which would be interesting. Like either way, it's very interesting.
So yeah, but like I think about it, whereas you've got everybody on set already. Why pull them back together every year
Oh
to
no,
do the
they
same
they
thing?
very well might make them all at the same time. I just don't know if they'll release
Yeah,
them all at the same time. That's
you're right.
my thing.
So,
Either way, that's
like,
a
dude,
massive
would you
undertaking.
would you take the whole film? Oh, dude, you couldn't. You could. You'd have to shoot every scene 4 times differently,
Yeah.
and the actors themselves would have to have read not 4 different scripts, but like 4 scripts with 4 different roles of the same person played.
I would imagine they would probably do them all at the same time, like back to
Yeah,
back to back to
yeah,
back. But
yeah. Scene one, like this movie, scene one, this movie, scene one.
but the
I don't
thing is,
know.
they
Like,
could
how do
be at
you
different time
balance, dude?
periods, so they could independently be their own film.
I
Like
guess so. Yeah.
like each like your 4 films following the rise and the subsequent breakup of the Beatles.
I just like the way that it was written was like it's a retelling from their points of view. Like I feel like it would be the
Oh
same.
yeah, you're right. It could be. I don't
I think it's
know.
primarily the same shots. I mean, shot for shot shown. I don't see. This
I'm
is. It might not even
intrigued.
be a POV, right? This
Yeah,
this will be a. I don't think it'll be a POV thing. So we'll see it as if we're watching from the fifth person.
yeah,
Um, but it's going to be told differently
that'll be interesting.
from like maybe Paul will narrate his
I
or
really
whoever
worry
they
that
have.
it'll feel like, oh, this is the third time I've watched this. It's just now I'm getting this person's perspective. Like now I'm
I
hearing
mean,
their. Hmm.
yeah. So it's either going to be boring or they're going to have to make it so different,
Well, they are all their
which
own independent person who did things
they are.
outside of the band. So, it's like,
And I mean, how many of them are still alive? I don't even know that.
oh, I think, well, isn't Paul?
George,
Isn't Paul's? No, Paul
uh,
died.
Paul, Paul- hold on, Beatles alive. Paul and Ringo are still
That's
alive.
what I
So
thought.
John and George are gone. Um,
Well, yeah, Paul got,
yeah. So
or
you
Paul,
have
John Lennon got shot.
half, right? Harrison died of lung cancer,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, I don't. That's also fun retelling events from somebody who's not alive.
Yeah.
So I don't know, dude. I don't. It's just funny to think about as someone who's been on set before, witnessing the 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 back and forth and the fun stuff that happens just on one timeline through one perspective.
Yeah.
Now to it 3 more times, all sold, all different. Yeah, yeah. No, dude, I don't know.
I'm intrigued. That's what I'll say is I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued. I'm hopeful. I'm doubtful. Uh, like
Not
there's no
optimistic.
way. There's no like what you had said. There's no way that this isn't redundant. Like it's crazy to think about. And what Ryan and I were thinking was it was one movie, and you had to tell it so drastically different that you would tell it twice, obviously, with just 2 people, and you just doubled the runtime basically, which is what the French film did. But it was much shorter in the second part
Yeah.
than it was in the first part, building up and giving you all the
You
context.
can name the
Whereas
film. Like it is.
I don't even remember it. That's the problem.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I don't know why. Like, don't gatekeep it if you could remember it.
I do not.
It's okay.
It
Continue.
was in French, so um, hold on, twice. Um, let's go with
You're talking with
replay la
you're talking about
repetition.
he loved me not is what you're talking
Oh,
about.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry. Never mind. I lied.
No, it's okay. I've completely you said that and I completely forgot what movie I had shown you. I remember the idea. I just couldn't remember the movie. He loved me not, starring the actress who played in Amelie. Such a good movie.
Gotcha. Um, sorry, I'm reading about this other French film that might do the same thing. God damn, these French,
They're
these
always so ahead of the curve.
they always know something we don't, and it
Audrey
apparently they also
Tautou
have
is who I'm thinking
dementia.
of. She's so good. She also was
Uh,
in what other movie was Audrey Tautou in? She was in The Da Vinci Code. That's what I'm thinking of. Anyway,
maybe not. Anyway, very interesting film. If you're up for listening to something in French for that long, just to get it, it's an interesting concept. I won't say that it's like an amazing film
I
that
love it.
everybody should watch. He loves it. I think it was okay, but I think the concept is interesting and can be taken elsewhere.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe stay tuned for a possible future short film that's not even written yet.
No, we'll get it done.
So
Treatment and all.
we'll get it eventually. I don't know where we're gonna get the things that we need because in my head it was told in an elevator.
But it's such a good idea.
But where are we gonna get an elevator, Ryan?
We know people.
Yeah. I know. I do not know anybody with an elevator, Ryan.
We will make it
Despite
happen.
popular belief, if you have an elevator out there,
We'll make it
let us know.
happen.
Let us
Come
know.
on.
He's so optimistic.
Moving on down the
You have
line,
an elevator dealer?
Jake, you're going to continue speaking and reading your words because you also wrote this next one.
I did. I borrowed brilliance from Empire. Um, but so John Wick 5. Let me set the mood here. John Wick 5. Everybody's been wondering because uh it closed on Wick seemingly succumbing to his injuries
Yeah, we talked
in
about how he lawn chaired on
Paris.
a balcony or a fire
The
escape.
visual is insane.
Yeah.
Um and we were we were shown a tombstone for good measure to make sure we thought he was dead. Technically, we didn't see the guy die, but we don't know. He will be back in chapter 5, but it doesn't. The article doesn't necessarily state whether or not it's before or after that. I'm leaning on before, but this is a quote from I believe it to be Chad Staheletsky. Helsky? Yeah,
Stahelski. I
Stahelski.
think I call him
Stahelski.
Stiletsky or something to that effect, but it's
Uh,
Stahelski.
Director Chad Stahelski.
Stahelski.
Okay. There will be more to Wick's return than meets the eye. The saga of John Wick was pretty wrapped up, he admits, to Empire. So the only way to do a 5 is to have a new story that involves John Wick. It's not a continuation with the High Table. He's dealt with his grief. It will be really different, and everybody will see the trailer and go, "Holy expletive F word! I gotta see that." And of course, they will. It's a John Wick movie.
Okay.
Um, so okay. In the meantime, obviously you have Ballerina with Ana Darmus, um, which is set after Chapter 3, and then Donnie Yen's Kane spin-off movie, which is an animated prequel about Wick's and the page breaks here. Initial escape from the Assassin's game and the Under the High Table TV series that's also coming out. The latter two, so the animated and the TV series in particular, will lay the groundwork for where John's story goes next. So I don't know anything about the animated prequel nor Under the Table TV series. I don't know the time frame of that, so that'll kind of help me out here. But I'm asking is like, are we getting a John Wick or a Baba Yaga come up movie? Right. I wonder if we're getting like before. Uh, so if he's truly dead, if he's truly dead and we see the tombstone, he's never to be alive again after Chapter 5. I name this like I name Star Wars like events happening before or after the Battle of Yavin. It's before Doggy Death, so it's BDD. Are we gonna get a movie BDD?
I
Right?
love that it's like BBY. Like that's so
Yeah,
funny. That was
yeah.
a
So
slick
it's
one.
before Doggy Death.
I think it needs to stop.
He doesn't want any more John Wick movies.
No. I want the universe to be expanded in a realm, in a world where everything gets an expansive universe. The one that deserves it is the John Wick franchise, right? Like the under the table or under the high table, sorry, that series, and there's so much to do with prequels to see how John Wick got to where he is, and Ana de Armas and the ballerina. Like there's so many avenues of storytelling that, and the thing is that the roots of everything that we've seen thus far in the first 4 films, they're so expansive and they're so deep that you could go anywhere and it still be a decent story. So I'm actually pro everything you just said underneath John Wick 5. I think that's so cool. It's unique. I love because that world is so distinct and it's so specific to John Wick and it's so aesthetically pleasing in its own way that like I want to be there more. Like I want to live. Like I want to know more about Ana de Armas. I wanted to learn more about her character. However, if we're going to do more John Wick, it's got to be before. It's got to be BBD or before the doggy death. You got to do that. I don't think we should get a John Wick 5. I'm sorry. Let him die. Like he's done.
I just looked up the Under the High Table sequel, and it's set to pick up directly after chapter 4.
So that's
and so if that's the groundwork for where John's story goes next, then it is likely that it is going to be after his.
That's fine.
Presumed
but move
death.
on. You know what I mean? Like move on. Like
you say 6 should be either him coming up or not even John Wick 6. It should be Ballerina 2 or something.
Yeah, like I think they should just move on. Like I think that if your story feels run up when you're done with the ballerina story and you're done with these prequels, if you're like, oh, if we're gonna continue this, we have to do something completely new. You know, you're spent. It's time to move on. Right now, I feel like they've got room outside of John Wick because that story's told.
Did say.
Yeah, that story's told.
He's literally Chad quote from Empire. The saga of John Wick was pretty wrapped up.
There, yeah.
Period. Chapter 4.
If you're trying to just make things up, you're done. Like it's time to move on. Yeah. If there's no branches on that tree left, stop. But the thing is, they've still got some real estate to move, like to keep in this universe that is so much of a cash cow, in a good way. So, but what's going to happen is they're going to introduce new characters that they can then branch off that with, and it's going to be so far removed from John Wick that you forget that it's John Wick. And so I think when you get to that point, or when you get close to that point, like think about the ballerina, is that Ana de Armas is so connected to John Wick's character that it makes sense. And same thing for all the other series we've talked about. But yeah, no. Once you get beyond that, like I think that you could do it maybe if this is now going to be twice removed from John Wick, but you could probably, if you introduce a character that's so beloved in the ballerina, sure, you could go beyond that. However, once you get beyond that point, I think it's time to stop. It's time to give it up. It's time to wrap up the story. Yes, there are infinite stories you could tell once you have a world built because there's infinite people in that world. But stop. You've done something so well. Know when to quit. You're not at that point yet, but you're rapidly approaching it. And the thought about him talking about John Wick 5 when Keanu's talking about his busted kneecap and how he can't even do it, all the stunts anymore. Stahelski himself is like, that story's pretty wrapped up, but we're looking at a 5 anyway. That just makes me feel bad.
Yeah. The only way to do a 5 is to have a new story that's not a continuation of what we've already told.
Then it's not John Wick. Then it's not John Wick 5. That is just a new story. So that's my argument. Is you're talking about
the new John Wick story. We're getting into who did the Tom Clancy books.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
It's just another story.
It's not Tom Clancy. Yeah.
It's a John Wick, but
yeah,
not John Wick.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't 007, right? Like it's just not.
Yeah.
So
is he wanting to be?
I think that's probably what he wants. Is like, oh, the new person takes the mantle of John Wick. You're just trying too hard. Like, so I say give it up. So for the finale of our show, because we've gone pretty long, we're gonna go through the recent releases of trailers. We're not going to go into crazy depth. We're just going to talk about the ones that we've seen. We've got 5 listed here. Some are teasers, some are teasers, so they're not even like official teasers, and others are full-fledged. And we're going to talk about what stood out to us. We're going to say the ones that we've watched, I should say, and then go back and decide the ones that we are most excited about. We've done this a few times. So we've watched the new Godzilla and Kong prequel, which it has a title of I'm blanking, Supernova? Yeah. So it's going to be called Godzilla and Kong Supernova. Then we got the first official teaser for the Denzel Washington starring Spike Lee film, from high or just called Highest to Lowest, which that was a really interesting trailer. We'll get into that. We also have The Conjuring: The Last Rites, which looks very interesting. We got the first trailer for, or an official trailer for The Long Walk, which is a Mark Hamill starring Stephen King adaptation. And then we also watched the Don't, or what was it called? Honey Don't, starring
Yeah.
Margaret Qualley and Chris Evans from Ethan Cohen. So very interesting. Jake,
Yeah.
which ones stood out to you and why?
So I really liked Honey Don't because I'm a sucker for like the investigator type movies, like kind of like Knives Out. I didn't care for Glass Onion, but like the first one, I really enjoyed that movie. Of like it's I don't know, it's a story to me. It's like a puzzle, right? I always find myself referring to things as a puzzle. It's very interesting to me how to piece something together or dismantle it, and it's like I'm gonna mention it. The motorcycle. It's a puzzle, right? To me, like it was laid over. It's got bumps and scratches and things that are not stock on it. But as I dive into it, take it apart and find all the wires and they're in the wrong places. But like that leads to this, and it was like, oh, that's probably because it was laid over and they had to replace it. Murder mystery to me. So Honey Don't, and it's also a comedy, so it's not like crazy. Um, like a horror film or anything like that. So it's right up my alley that this is probably going to be a really fun one. Plus, it's got Chris Evans as I guess the antagonist.
He's a pastor, dude. He's like the
Right,
megachurch leader.
right. And so number one suspect practically for what the movie's about with this investigator and um I, I'm blanking on the name. Sorry,
You got Audrey Plaza, Charlie Day are
Audrey Plaza.
also in this film. Margaret
Charlie
Qualley.
Day. So that's yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's Margaret, right? Who's
The lead
uh,
investigator. Yeah.
the
So
lead investigator. So
the
Margaret,
synopsis for the film is small town private investigator. Excuse me. Honey O'Donohue probes a series of strange deaths that are tied to a mysterious church. So Margaret Qualley is Donahue.
right, and so just her performance in general, and she was the underage girl hitting on Brad Pitt and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
Yep.
or Once Upon a Hollywood. Um, it's a dark comedy, I guess, but I don't know. I'm very intrigued by that. I think it's going to be a really good one that I'm going to try and drag the girlfriend to because I think it's going to be fun. Because Chris Evans in an antagonist role, I think is super fun because he did he was in Gray Man. He did it in Gray Man. He did it in Knives Out. Um, there's others. Those are the ones that are jumping out at me right now because I think he's a fun one to do it. And then like Deadpool and Wolverine when he was like kind of that sleaze bag, Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
Johnny Storm, um,
Johnny Flame.
Johnny Flame. Literally, that's yeah. So I think he plays those characters funny, but unlikable or antagonist roles. I think he does well. I mean, he plays the same character in every one of them, but I enjoy that
He just
character for
acts
now.
so arrogant and so
Yes,
pompous, and he's just
he
so
does
good
it
at it.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the typecast for the role of pastor of one of these mega churches who is pompous and arrogant. He feels it. It's great. Um, And then Aubrey Plaza, great as always. Margaret Qualley, I believe every second of it. I think she's going to be an awesome lead in this. I'll leave the glazing there. I think this is going to be a good movie, and people should go watch it. It's Universal. It's got the name behind it. It'll likely do really well in the box office.
Yep.
I think. I don't think this is like one of those A24s that they do for fun. I think this will probably be top 10 or top 5 for at least 3 weeks. I'm going to put my bet in on that. I'm going 3 weeks top 5.
Yeah.
Um and that third week's going to be pushing it, I'd say, especially depending on when it's going to roll out. I'll end it there and I'll talk about my second pick here and I'm going to go with The Long Walk. Um I definitely get where it's the Hunger Game, like it was directed by every Hunger Games sequel, right? Is that correct? Who was it?
Uh
Francis Lawrence.
yes, yes, yes.
Um, so quoting Empire here, Francis Lawrence knows a thing or two about grueling dystopian dramas with kids forced into do or die situations since he's directed every Hunger Games sequel, plus The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, um, and before he gets started on Sunrise on the Reaping. Um, he's doing this movie. So you can already get what this is going to feel like. And Ryan, do you have the synopsis handy on this, or I can just describe it
Yes,
from memory?
yes. Give me 1 second.
Mark Hamill's in this
He seemed
somewhat of an antagonist.
the most
It's
villainous I've
awesome.
seen him since he voice acted as the Joker, man. So
Yes, like there's a line in here that says he's the most non-Skywalker role they've ever seen, and I agree with him. This is not Luke Skywalker. This is a major. This is a military, a higher up in the military individual that is makes you don't like him. Makes you not like him.
yeah, and so the synopsis is quote a group of teenage boys compete in an annual contest known as the Long Walk, where they must maintain a certain walking speed or get shot. And that's essentially it. And that does sound a lot like
Yeah,
the Hunger Games, just mobile.
yeah. So it's very interesting because like every shot is like they're all being followed by military vehicles, and it's just a bunch of kids walking, and like they'll sprinkle in like things that happen and people who've died and stuff like that, but it really doesn't give away the why, I guess. And so
Yeah.
that's really intriguing for me is it's like why in the world is this a contest every year? I mean, it's got to be a Hunger Games level idea here. So it's I'm not going to say that it's not new and it's not old. It's a different take on it, but I don't know. It's probably like a Hunger Games reason that they're in a
Yeah.
dystopian future that they. I mean, it calls it out dystopian drama.
Well, he said
Um,
something to Mark Hamill said something to the effect of like, okay, like you're being watched. This is for the betterment of society, that sort of thing, which is exactly the Hunger Games.
right,
Um,
right.
I will,
And the what's the Maze Runner
yeah, same thing.
for the betterment of the whatever,
I
right?
will. So I will say this, and I hate to cut us off because I am running low on time. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Yep.
Like I'm just gonna say this here because I do think the Long Walk. You're literally the two you said are the two that I'm in order of. I
Yeah.
think the
Not
thing
even The Conjuring.
The Conjuring was interesting as a featurette. It wasn't necessarily a trailer. It was more of a here's a behind the scenes. Here's how we're doing it differently. Here's how we're ending it, which was cool. I think that the editing for highest to lowest from Spike Lee was done really well. In fact, we took time to even try to find who the
Yeah.
editor was for the trailer because it was done so well. I am not interested in Godzilla and Kong. I'm sorry, it just seems so dumb. Uh,
Did you actually watch it? I forgot to tell
40
you about it.
seconds, yeah, there was a whole nothing there, and so
Yeah.
yeah. So with
We don't know anything about that yet. I wouldn't make a opinion based
it's
upon what
not
we're
it's less
talking about,
about
but
the trailer, it's more about I just am not interested in the monsterverse. I'm interested in Godzilla from the perspective like I love Shin Godzilla, I love Godzilla minus one, like those are things like that is the
yeah,
character I really like from not even like a sci-fi, it's just so when it's so visceral because like what I love about those takes is like this is what it would sort of be like if this actually happened, and I
yeah,
like that because it is visceral. Like I love watching the drama that is the characters trying to grip with this actual like essentially apocalyptic event. So like that I find really interesting when they go in the monster verse and it's like you got a buddy cop movie with Godzilla and King Kong and they're like King Kong's got
mm,
like a robotic arm and they're like winking at each other. That's so dumb to me. I just feel like it's fun. It's good fun and it's thriller and like or not thrilling or thriller, but it's like an action film where it's like your blood's pumping. So it's cool and there's some cool scenes in there and I can see why you would like it. And if in a certain mood, I would probably enjoy them, but it's just they're not my cup of tea. So I just don't think
yeah,
I like them. So it just that's my why I say that is like I saw it and it just was more of the same. So I
mm,
don't know. I feel like it's just a cash grab because people will go watch Godzilla. People like big monsters when they make things go boom. So they not to make people who enjoy that movie seem dumb because they don't. I was just being silly, but you know what I
yeah.
mean. But with that, that's our extra long show with a somewhat new format. Jake, tell the people anything before they go.
Um, how long could a walk be where it can't? Like, I don't know.
Well, you had
It's a
Mark
contest.
Hamill. You had Mark Hamill literally saying, "Some of your hearts will give out, others your body and your mind." And he's but there's gotta be one. Is like what he said. And
I
it's
mean, I'm not saying that it would be easy. I'm saying like how long of a walk could it or possibly would it be before people started giving out, and then you don't finally have one? Is it like because people have ran
Yeah.
not consistently across the nation? Now make them walk, right? How do they sleep, right?
They
So
don't. I think that's the
I've
other
got
point
so many
too. Yeah.
questions
That's the other
that you
point.
can't even make it out of certain states because they're too long.
They don't
You would have
sleep.
people fall asleep.
Yeah, they don't. And well, I think what's funny, and it's not funny, but it is funny, and this is the last thing before we end, is the first death that we saw, he literally died because he cramped.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
my leg. He's like holding his calf, or not his calf, his thigh,
yeah.
and then they shot him. He did.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
Thank you guys so much for being here for a really long time. Hopefully you like the new format, and I look forward to your guys' reaction to next week. We'll see you guys.